Well, hi everybody. It's been a little bit since we've had one of these videos, of course, between fall break as well as many of the initiatives, including the public safety tax. It's been a little bit hectic around here, so I do appreciate your patience. But let's get right into it and update you on what the most pertinent items are. So first of all, public safety tax. Let's discuss that real quick. Of course, with the November 5th election coming right now, there's a little bit of a pause, especially with City Council in terms of what their agenda is. They're waiting until November 5th passes to take on some of the other issues outside the public safety tax, and we're really all focused right now on just getting that one across the finish line. I also want to address a little bit of the anxiety that, of course, exists on both sides of that issue. What happens if the tax passes, and what happens if it doesn't pass? I'm going to actually address those specific points on my station visits that I just started this week. So if you can be a little bit patient, I'm not going to get into the massive details here. I'll talk a little bit about Plan B towards the end of this video, but more than anything, I just want to make sure that we address a different perspective that I want you to think about. Many of our council members at public events have said that if the tax does not pass, that they would have to reprioritize other council and departmental priorities, meaning, of course, that that could imply cuts to other departments. Now, first of all, those have not been decided. Second of all, both Chief Bonnie and myself don't want to see or would openly support having other departments cut just to make our public safety initiatives happen at a quicker rate. And there's, of course, many reasons for that, including the fact that we are one team, one city, and have one cohesive mission. But the other thing is this: all of those services across the city, as you all know, are extraordinarily essential and vital. There is simply nothing to cut here. So what would happen if that were to occur is that there likely would have to be a pause and a reprioritization of existing things. For instance, if the city's carrying vacancies, some of those vacancies may get shifted over into public safety to be able to hire additional police officers and additional firefighters. And then we would figure out over the longer term how we would backfill those positions and figure out a way to right that ship. The other thing is, for instance, we could see other initiatives within our public safety proposal. For instance, the health and safety remodels get moved a little bit further to the front of the line because those are, in terms of the price tag, individually a little bit cheaper, so $2 million a station. While we accumulate other savings and figure out other funding mechanisms to build the more expensive infrastructure, including the additional stations. I do anticipate, and I would recommend to council, that if the tax doesn't pass, for us to have Engine 76 daytime still proceed with open positions. But again, of course, that's not up to me. It's just up to me to recommend that, and I will recommend that strongly. We have to close the gap, and we have to do it sooner than later. But the main reason why I want to talk through that real quick is just to provide you with a perspective. While there's a lot of anxiety in fire stations and at the police department right now, can you imagine the anxiety that exists and the uncertainty that exists within other departments in the city when they have statements made like that without having any certainty around what that actually means? So more than anything, I just want you to be aware of that. If you are around city employees, reassure them, of course, and show that united front. This is not about cutting services and pilfering other very needed services. It is going to have to be a balancing act if the tax doesn't pass. Now, my opinion, and it's just an opinion, based on some objective data, including last fall's survey that the city did, and some of the other public sentiment that I see out there, is that this will pass with a slight margin. Of course, in Prescott, we could probably never anticipate seeing a tax initiative pass by a wide margin, but I do think that based on where we're at, what this what 478 is going to be doing for the citizens, I do think we will see that initiative pass slightly. And of course, I just addressed what happens if it doesn't. So stay tuned for more, but again, just keep that perspective in mind if you can. A couple of other things I want to really quickly talk about. Our accreditation is well underway. We're getting a lot of review comments right now from our peer team. Our site visit did get pushed back to the middle of December because 2 of those peer team members were impacted by Hurricane Helene. And so, of course, we're waiting a little bit here to get them physically on site, but there's already a lot of work happening and making sure that we're compliant. For all of you that contributed to that document and all those documents, actually, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for your professionalism and your high quality work. It is showing, and And we're getting, of course, great feedback from many of the programs that all of you are involved in. So can't thank you enough. A couple other things real quick. Our new fire marshal starts on December 2nd. I've mentioned that previously, but I just want to remind you. And speaking of some of the special events that are happening towards here the end of the year, first of all, in November, mid-November, November 13th, we're going to have a potluck here at admin. We're doing those every 2 months. And I mention that because if you're on duty that day, you are invited to rotate through. No need to bring anything. We'll provide all the food. We just want to see you and have a chance just to relax with you here at admin with a little bit less of a structured agenda. Another component that I want to mention is December 8th, the Christmas party. Lori sent that out. Really hoping to see many of you there. We've shortened that from 2 to 5. And we're going to have basically similar to what we did last year. It'll be at the Freeman Building over at the fairgrounds, and really looking forward, of course, to that event as well. And speaking just of the end of the year, as we kind of get towards December and Thanksgiving and all of the great events that are happening in fall, I want to encourage you just to take a pause if you can. Of course, many of you are hunting right now. And again, I just want to double down on making sure that you understand just how important it is for me that there's good work-life balance. And that's the last point I'll make on this video. At the November chapter meeting, both Brandon Nunes and myself will be there to answer questions on shift schedule, PTO, and many other things. And I just want to make sure that you understand that I'll be coming to that with an open mind, open ears, and just looking at a level playing field dialogue. This is not about me being against any shift schedule. I just want to dispel that rumor right now. What I'm for is an outcome, and that outcome is to see work-life balance improve, both immediately as well as over the long term. And of course, many of those initiatives and those shift schedules have been presented to you now by Local 3066 members. Again, I'm looking forward to that conversation, and I want you to know that my mind is not about a shift schedule. My mind is about creating an outcome and doing that collaborative with all of you. The solutions that we have to this, by and large, exist between all of us here in the fire department. And don't ever forget how powerful that is in terms of controlling that destiny and having a solution that works for everybody. I know that there's people that are very dead set against changing the schedule at all, and that there's people dead set on certain other schedules. Again, where my mind and my heart is at on this is to make sure that you all who actually work that shift schedule have a good work-life balance. And I guarantee you we will find a way that's going to work for the majority and minimize the impact on anybody in terms of changes or not changes. We want to make sure that we are listening to you and that we figure out a way to have you have a great balance as much as possible, as it is in this very demanding public safety field. All right, with that, that's a lot that I've just thrown at you. I know there's plenty of questions. Like I said, Chief Lucas is out doing Coffee with the Ops Chief. I'm doing my fall station visits already this week, and I'll continue those. And the last thing I'll say is I do need to pick back up on the ride-alongs that I did about a month ago before fall break kicked off. I still need to get some of my own sets and reps out there. So if you're interested in having me spend some time with you as your fourth, so that I can get some IV sticks as well as some patient contact, I would really appreciate that. I do need to keep my skills up as well. So with that, I'll close this one out. Thank you so much for everything that you all do every day. I can't mention it enough that I do notice and appreciate all of the hard work. You may not think that at times that it is noticed. I do think about it all the time and just can't tell you how much I appreciate what you all do, not just for this department, but of course, especially for the citizens of our city. With that, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful beginning to fall. And as always, please take care of each other.